Hi Virgo, how's it going? This reading is going to be about what you need to know for September. So any major themes, advice, anything that you need a heads up about can be something that comes through. We're starting off first with Page of Pentacles and Page of Wands. Okay. Okay, this is what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing there be a very distinct element of advice. Having Page of Wands, this is about being, it's about doing something that matters to you, something that you care about. Having Page of Pentacles, you need to take a practical approach. This also means that like being resourceful will be helpful, going at a pace where you're allowing things to build, where you're getting your bearings, that being important. As Page of Wands indicates you doing something that you actually want to be doing, having Page of Pentacles, it's the advice that taking an approach where you will just be consistent with what you're doing, you do a good job, you learn how to do things properly, and you may need to wear a couple different hats, but all for the sake of doing something in a way that feels well thought out. This is about doing things with a sense of precision rather than just getting it done quickly, because what I'm seeing over here is Seven of Swords and Knight of Wands, and what this feels like is that there are two different paths that you can take, and one of them is being advised and the other one is not being advised. One of them is this thing that you care about, this thing that you want to be doing, you need to take a slow and steady approach. You need to learn how to do things properly or allow things to build, and you have to remain consistent and keep doing it. This means too recognizing the position that you're within, and maybe you can look for like advice or other people to help you with this if need be, but also especially about figuring out how to do things on your own. When I say how to do things on your own, it's more so like figuring out how to do things yourself. And you can feel like I'm doing this thing and I'm starting off kind of small, but it's okay for me because this is something that matters to me and I want to be doing this. It feels like something that's coming to light with Seven of Swords and Knight of Wands is if you try to rush this, if you try to speed through this, it's not going to work out well for you. And it feels like you really need to see that. Like this is going to be, you already have the path. It feels like that thing isn't up for question. You want to be here, you want to be doing this. This means if you need help, allow yourself to accept this. It means also seeing yourself in a position that's more of a novice with what you're doing. Through experience, you're going to gain knowledge, you're going to gain understanding, and you're going to gain that skill set. Don't rush it. What this feels like with Seven of Swords and Knight of Wands is that if you rush something and if you are overly confident, not a healthy amount of confidence, this is like, I want to get something done quickly. I want to see really fast results. I need to see progress immediately. I'm going to speed through this. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to jump into this without doing like research first or planning first or utilizing resources that I have around me. It's going to end up backfiring, and it feels like it will really set you backwards. So this means like if you're not being encouraged to take a bold approach with this, you're being encouraged to do like a slow and steady, almost like if there is a new thing or just something that you're learning how to do, it's like you have to read the manual, you know, you can look for other people that are doing that to be a source of inspiration for you, to model for you really what you want to be doing here. Learn how to do things properly and do it yourself as well. And also needing to be patient with the process. But having Knight of Wands, that can be the part of you that's impulsive. It can be the part of you that wants to act before thinking, and it's going to backfire if you end up doing this. It can be impatience as well. You can look at It's interesting for this to be like something that's being pointed out in a Virgo reading, because I feel like the energy of Virgo is a bit more meticulous. But yeah, if you find yourself in the month of September like wanting to speed something up or speed it through, it's not being encouraged that you do that. It's being encouraged that you actually take a more conservative approach and do something properly, and not try to speed through something or speed it up before it's really time to be doing that. Because I feel too like this is something that can get in your head. If you're looking at something and being like, I don't know what exactly I'm doing here. I'm learning as I go. I'm figuring this out. I'm utilizing my resources. I'm looking around and I'm including that in my process. This is definitely where I want to be. And this is how I learn to walk this path, versus a part of you that's like, let's just make the most, like cover the most ground as quickly as possible. Let me not check in with that person. Let me just do guesswork here. Let me act impulsively. Let me act now and think later. It's going to be something that ends up, it feels like taking you backwards with this. And Seven of Swords and Knight of Wands, this can also be a mindset where you do things without thinking about it, and then it's going to come back and sort of like ruin what you're doing. Well, I don't know, like ruin feels like very all or nothing here, but it can be something that really ends up backfiring. And for some of you too, with Seven of Swords and Knight of Wands, impulsivity may be a bit of an issue at times. I don't know if it just has to do with this thing specifically, or this is like an overall thing that you're working with. But yeah, there can be a part of you that like you don't like to take your time sometimes, or you're looking at something and being like, why am I not seeing results? And then you do something because you're impatient and it ends up backfiring. I wonder too if this is like you get burnt out, or you're not learning how to do something properly, and then you're gonna like bump up to the next skill set and be looking around like, I don't know how to do this because I didn't learn the basics of something. Because Page of Pentacles is the basics of what you're doing, and you definitely want to be here doing it, so it feels like it's worth it to lay the foundation. If it helps, you can picture Page of Pentacles as being like an intern, and Page of Wands is you being on a path that you want to be on. But because of not having a whole lot of experience, so this can be a lot of new learning, but it's something where this is an investment that you're making. And so you're going to basically turn into, on this path that you're pursuing, you're going to turn into the King and the Queen of Pentacles, but right now you're just a page. So because you're just a page, you have to act like you're a page, like, oh, this is something that takes time, got to learn how to do this right. Because King of Pentacles isn't just King of Pentacles with no experience. This is when you get the experience. You're also in a position where it's okay when you make mistakes, because you're not at the highest part of this. You can be like working under people, or you can be studying, or you can be learning, figuring stuff out, and so there's less responsibility. So now is really the time to explore it, to figure out what's the best strategy, like how do I work well. And also too, it feels like utilizing resources is important within this. So this can be not being afraid to ask for help when you need help. Say like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Can you help me out with this? Can you give me some guidance? Things like that. The nice thing about this with Page of Wands here, it shows that you're doing something that you want to be doing and that you care about, and that feels really valuable. Because, you know, sometimes we have a skill set or want to be putting our energy into something and we don't know what to put it into. We don't really know what that passion is for us. This shows that you know what that passion is for you. At least as far as this is concerned. It's something that matters to you. It's something that you want to be doing. But yeah, the guidance is do not speed through this, and you need to think before you act. And if you're not doing that, you will see it ends up backfiring with Seven of Swords. Because there can even be like, I'm going to act before thinking, and then I start going down that path, and it feels like you go off-roading in a way that really takes you away from this path. And then you're going to have to work your way all the way back, and you don't know what can happen in that time. And so it feels like it will really slow down your progress if you do that. And you will look at it and say, I knew better than doing that. I do feel that with this Seven of Swords here, like I knew better than doing that. I should have thought about it. Maybe I didn't want to think about it because then my intuition would have stopped me. It can be doing that like la la la, I don't want to hear what it is, and then you do the thing and then it ends up doing whatever and it doesn't help you. It can end up sabotaging things actually. So this can be like a lesson in self-control, or a lesson in like actually thinking and like having to put in the work, and then seeing that you end up progressing faster than you think. Because this feels too like maybe something's going on in your head sometimes where you're like, if I just do this without really thinking about it, I'm gonna get ahead. And then like really that being the thinking, I'm gonna get ahead if I do it like this, but your intuition nagging you like maybe this isn't the right way to do it, don't listen to it, and then it ends up taking you longer than if you would have just done something the right way. And you'll know this when Seven of Swords pops up, there will be this feeling of, I don't know, I feel uneasy about this, or I know better but I'm trying to quiet that so I don't have to listen to my intuition here. It will sound like that. Because I don't feel like you're unaware of the Seven of Swords. I feel like this is a part of you that sometimes like wants to do your own thing even when that won't be helpful. And then this place that you get to in your head where you convince yourself, find supporting evidence for doing things in the way that you want to do it, and then it ends up backfiring and it ends up slowing down your process ultimately. And this can just like in general be impatience of like, if I'm not seeing something as quickly as I want to see it, then I throw everything down the drain, you know, or I give up, or I feel like I should go over there instead, when it's like, nope, you're on this path, you need to stick with this path, you don't need to be switching it up. Because you are going to get where you're trying to go, for sure. Feels like remaining consistent also, like keeping your heart focused. I wonder if this is also like stability mentally, emotionally, energetically. Feels like instead of like wavering and fluctuating all over the place, keeping stuff more like centered. Because when you look at Queen of Cups, as that is water energy, it can be like waves, you know, like in and out, the coming and the going, and it can really fluctuate. But I'm seeing Four of Pentacles before that, and it feels like needing to keep things steady, keep things even, keep like a rhythm to things rather than it being all over the place. And that may be some work that you're doing of like, how do I keep myself grounded? How do I not be reactive to what's going on? How do I try to remain as consistent as possible? Because I wonder too, if based off of what's going on, feeling reactive emotionally, like feeling sensitive, you can feel like stuff goes on, and then doing things based off of that, where here it feels like not getting in the way of what you're building, not getting in the way of what you're doing. I can be experiencing what I'm feeling, but I don't have to tear everything down based off of that. Feels like a steadfast energy. Some of you, there's a mentor that you'll be connecting with that's on this path. This is somebody that knows what they're doing. You would look, okay, so I'm seeing you be the page, and I'm seeing somebody else be King of Wands, and this is feeling like you're doing something, there's a common path that you have with this person, and this person can very much mentor you and give you good guidance, and so you can be like socially connecting with this person. You'll feel like they have more experience than you, but they're also in a great position to be mentoring you. This is somebody that you feel like they have passion for the path that you're on, and they have experience, and they can give you good advice. That's important. So how I was saying, I feel like resources are important. You in this position of Page of Pentacles, you have somebody very close to you that's going to be a really great resource for you and a very great guide and mentor for you. That's what I'm seeing. And this is somebody that has this path in common with you, and this feels like you are socially connected with this person. This is somebody that would be supportive of you doing this. So you do have that resource. It feels like not forgetting about that. But I get that sometimes you can look at this person and maybe want to speed things up, but you have to respect where you are on this path, because this person has gotten to where they are based off of their experience and what they've learned. And you can't like minimize their experience and be like, well, I'm here and you're there and let me just jump across. It feels like that is a big no-no here, that you got to take the time to do this properly. And I get too that there's also something with your water energy that's going on that you're learning how to stabilize, because there may be things having to do with impulsivity that you're working with right now, and reactivity that you're working with right now, and stability that you're working with right now, and those being themes that will be coming up. Responsibility as well, that can definitely be a piece of this too. So yeah, this person feels understanding of you, and this person also feels very supportive of you. You could even feel like they have an energy that, I guess mentor would be the best way to describe this. You can almost feel like a kid in relation to them being a guide for you with this particular path, just because, and it doesn't have to be like that in general. Maybe it is like that in general, but I'm seeing this be one of those times where like this is somebody who has walked this path. So being able to go to them when you need guidance, they will always, it feels like this is one of those people that will always have an answer for you because of the type of experience they have. And this is really somebody that you can look to that will be a prominent guide for you, because it's kind of like what you're attempting to sort of turn into and where you're attempting to go, that this person will be able to give you guidance because they've done their own version of that. And that means too that you're also turning into your own version of this energy. Like you do this long enough, you're going to master this, and you are going to turn from a Page of Pentacles into a King of Wands, which shows you being very, very savvy and very experienced, and feeling like there's a connection between your practical side, which may be something that you're learning more about. It's like your earth energy and your fire energy are meeting here. Your fire energy is your willpower, it's your ambition, it is your passion, your desire to be doing something, what you care about. Page of Pentacles is learning how to do the practical side of things. So it's not just like passion and being completely disorganized and undisciplined. There's going to be an element of discipline that's added to this that's going to sort of unite your process. And build your self-confidence. But you do have to be okay with being a page, which you can look at that and be like, but I want to be over there. But it's like really important that you respect the journey. Yeah, when it comes to your future, what you're building towards, your hope, your dreams, everything that you're looking towards, I'm seeing there be a brightness here. It looks like the only thing that can overshadow that is you not being in the right space mentally, and then you doing things that you're not fully thinking through that will, I'm hearing rebuttal, that will then come back and hinder you. Because I am seeing the Seven of Swords here, and this feels really important. Like when you're unchecked, you know, like when you start thinking and you're not in the right place mentally, and then you do something based off of that, you look back and be like, wow, if I had thought that through, I would not have done that. now can be a time where you're healing that. Like anything that you're doing that is like self-sabotaging tendencies, especially from a place of impulsivity, not checking in, not being present, just doing this thing. It feels like that's something that you're becoming more and more aware of. This is something that's actually delaying me making progress. But this also is a time where there can be awareness of this if you're willing to. There can be a great healing that's happening too, in coming to terms with this aspect of your energy, the one that can be getting in the way of these bigger goals that you have. Some of you can feel like you can't escape this part of yourself. I'm not getting that be the case. It just feels like it's like your shadow being like, you'll never escape me, and all you have to do is like bring light and awareness, light, which is awareness, consciousness, understanding, and then the shadow becomes less and less and less. It becomes more and more conscious and less unconscious. But this like unconscious part of yourself, this shadow aspect, is like, you'll never be able to escape me. And then you're like, no, I'll never be able to escape it. But I'm not seeing it be like that. Like, this is about you being brave. This is about you not giving up on yourself, not giving up on your dreams. Because this is the part of you that can sabotage your dreams and can sabotage your future and what you're trying to do. And I get too that sometimes you're being called into question to be like, there's vulnerability that's needed, and there's bravery and courage that's needed, and to be bold and to push forward with what you want to do. But you get into this like matrix inside your head. This can also be things like perfectionism, like not wanting everybody to see you making a mistake, so not taking the shot in the first place, hiding parts of yourself. And you can find that all of this stuff comes up and it will not let you move forward until these things are addressed. I do really get like something going on psychologically, a deep, deep thing going on psychologically. And it can be the thing that stops you from moving forward, because this can be a time where stuff comes up, and if you're not, let's say it like this, there may be certain leaps of faith that you have to make. There may be times when you have to be bold, you have to be courageous, like you have to be the first one to take that step, because you can't look around and be like, everybody else go first, and then if that works out okay, like maybe I'll go then. Like, you're gonna have to self-lead through this. And it feels like it's working. Like, how do you work with the part of yourself when these things are occurring mentally and still do what you want to do? It doesn't mean that like these thoughts or whatever are going to go away, that you can be brave then when you're not experiencing that. How do you experience these things and not allow it to get in the way of the things that you want to do? Because the Knight of Wands is that part of yourself that's like, I'm focused, this is my mission, I'm going to do it, nothing is going to hold me back. And the Seven of Swords is like, I'll mess with your head so much that I will hold you back. When you're having those thoughts and when you're having that psychological experience, how do you work with that? And that is how you'll find the key to healing this and being able to move forward and not feeling like your dreams and your goals are unobtainable. The life that you want to live is unobtainable. And I get even this thought of like, well, because I have this, I can't work with it then. I'm just like what is it called? Like when you have like lost hope, for a lost cause. It feels like that, but it's like, that's not something that needs to hinder you. It kind of feels like working with a part of yourself where it's like, if all of us experience fear, there will still be some people that will take that leap of faith. It's not because they're not scared or not experiencing fear or not experiencing thoughts that could deter them. It's that they're experiencing that and still willing to do the things. And it feels like working with that part of yourself. How do I have this experience that I'm having? Because it's not going to go away no matter what, for the most part. It's still going to be there. How do I work with myself when that is there? And there being this major psychological component to things. Vulnerability is something that's needed, and compassion for self. I want to clarify just to see if there's anything more about this Seven of Swords. Some of you, this has to do with things in a social aspect. Yeah, this feels like something about your intuition that's being worked with. Because I'm seeing with Page of Cups and Seven of Wands, when you get feelings about things, there may be a defense mechanism where you shut them down and then you're disconnected from your intuition and like your soul and your soul's guidance. And you may be getting these messages sometimes where you have to be flexible, and there can be a part of you that is having a hard time basically like creating new neural pathways. That's what this feels like. I get it, like sometimes you have to be flexible, you have to change things up, or you have to like move things around or shift, and you can find yourself becoming very inflexible at times and then being stuck like, why isn't anything changing? Or like things can't change, but it's like because of a lack of willingness to actually change something. I do get, again, like this Seven of Swords feeling like this really self-defeating thing of your shadow being like saying whatever your shadow is saying to you, and like the only reason it has power is because of you believing it. I wonder if just like your mental health and wellness is gonna come up in general, because I feel like that's also part of this too. Because I'm getting like every time I'm seeing your shadow pop up, and then I'm seeing you like crouch down because of it, almost like a spider when it curls up. It's like that. But it's not the sun, you know, that's shining on you, where, you know, when the sun shines on you and you just feel like opening up completely to it. This is like your shadow saying something, and so you're like constricting completely. And that being some type of interplay that I'm seeing here, and then like not doing the things that you want to be doing. So it's like playing this little game with yourself. It's like the shadow is here again, and then like running and hiding again. And this just being a dance that you do with yourself. Feels like a lot of weight is given to this. Like if the shadow says that, it must be true then. It feels like that. And it can be something that really does cut you off from your higher self, cut you off from the messages that you're getting. But it's something that ultimately you're empowering, and that can also be coming to light as well. This is helping you with a shift. It feels like it's meant to be helping you with a process that does need to come to an end now. Something that's changing. Self-trust is a big part of this, and also you stepping into your authenticity. I'm seeing that be a really big theme here. Living your life on your terms, the way that you want to. And feels like it's also too about what motivates you, because there's a line here that I'm seeing, and there's fear and shadow that can motivate you, or there's like hope and faith that can motivate you, and you get to choose. And I'm seeing those paths be two very different. It feels like one of them you'll be going up and like elevating and evolving, and the other one will be like going down and like a devolving that happens. And it feels like I'm seeing a lot of duality within this. Like what I'm seeing as far as the path up, I'm seeing you take matters into your own hands. I'm seeing there be self-trust. I'm seeing you be like initiating. There's really an embracing of the fire energy, doing what you love, what you're passionate about, being on the path that you feel called to be on, knowing I'm suited for this, I've been called here for a reason, this is mine to pursue. And then there's the hopes and the dreams and the self-trust and your authenticity and you staying true to yourself and being courageous, because I do get that again and again. I'm seeing like a lot of, we have King of Wands, we have Page of Wands, we have Knight of Wands. This is you really taking initiative and being in the driver's seat of your life and knowing that there's no height that's too high. You can really reach anything that you're setting out for, and this being a new chapter for you where you feel very mentally engaged and involved in what you're doing. And it can also be a time where a lot of self-care comes into play, self-healing, nurturing, you understanding your psychology and your emotions more, and you really pursuing a path that matters to you and that cares to you and that you care about. And I'm seeing that you do have support around you and you do have resources around you, especially social ones. That feels important because I'm not seeing it look like you're alone here. I'm seeing people be around you that will be supportive of you, especially when you need help, especially when you need guidance. And there are people that you can utilize as being resources. But if there's a part of you that you don't want to put yourself out there, you don't want to be vulnerable, you're not willing to be honest, like you need help with this thing, but then you're not saying anything about it because you don't want anyone to see you as like being a human, you know? I don't want to be seen in a light where I'm not being seen as being perfect, and then shutting down because of it is really going to take you downhill. And this like rigidity, this refusal to let go, this I'm holding on to things so I can stay in control is going to end badly. I'm seeing 4 of Pentacles and I'm seeing 10 of Swords, and this means if you refuse to budge and you refuse to let go, you're basically going to be like dragged into something that can feel like it wasn't even your choice to go in that direction, and things can really happen in a way that, when I say end badly, I mean more so like there will be pain that you experience where you'll still like change and you'll still evolve, but you didn't have to go through that. You didn't have to force yourself to go through it, and it could have been different. And so I'm seeing it be like this cross here of like you can go up and go that way, or you're going to go down, and either way you will evolve through this, but one path is going to be a lot more painful than the other. And it feels too like in the middle of this you get the choice between courage and authenticity and believing in yourself and having faith in your path and your dreams versus a lack of willingness to be vulnerable, like continuing to self-sabotage, listening to your shadow, being motivated by fear. And that is the cross here that I'm seeing. And you get to choose, like, you gonna go this way or you gonna go that way. I mean, either way, it will be the path that you choose. But that's what I'm seeing basically happen here. And it does feel like there's gonna be some type of choice that's being made about basically like which of those paradigms you're gonna be moving into. And one of them, in retrospect, one of them you'll look back on and be like, wow, it could have been a lot different. And you can be saying that from a place of relief, or you can be saying that from a place of mourning, you know? And like really it's your choice at the end of the day. But it does feel like you can end like a way of thinking or a way of doing things now that will really pay off later, or you can resist that and there's going to be a lot of pain that will come up, which isn't a bad thing, you know? Like pain is how we transform, and sometimes we need those types of lessons because we're too stubborn otherwise. And so like Pluto has to really drag us through some things in order to get us to evolve. But either way there will be evolving that happens, and either way like it will be the path that you're meant to be on. You just get to decide. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.